Hello, this is Last Bastion's YouTube video, which is linked to our live stream, of how to play SPQR. Now, we've had a little chat, which probably will be up on the outtakes. It's awesome, the chat. Basically, what we're doing is I've set up a little scenario. The warbands are uneven. I know that, you'll know that when we've gone through it. But my little scenario is that the Romans are bringing some gold to try and bribe this warlord over here into basically liking them, which is what the Romans did a lot. Unbeknown to the Romans, this guy doesn't like Romans. He wants to see every Roman dead. So he sent word to the next village over to make a band of warriors and come to his aid. He's planned an ambush. He's got his other villagers. This guy's like... He is the farmstead owner. He's got a pretty good field area, you can see here. But he also, the village over there, he's got some little minions and stuff. And the minions, basically, that's his loyal warband of well-armoured guys. Because this guy's rich. This guy's well off. He's got guys in chainmail with swords and big shields. And then he's got a contingent of archers that are hidden in this wood here. Romans can't see them. They're well hidden. You can probably see them on the video, but they are well... In fact, they're even well hidden on the video. You can't hardly see them. So they're hidden, basically waiting for the hand signal from him to attack the Romans. The Romans have come in force. The Roman force by itself is 572 points. Now, the general and his men only come to... about 350, 400. So this is a show of force by the Romans. They are carrying a huge pot of gold, which isn't on the models, but they are. They've stuffed it in the pockets. So when they get into the village, they'll have a little chat, and then basically he'll give the signal. When he sees these guys approaching, he's got some lookouts. When he gets word that these guys are approaching, he will then turn on the Romans, and there'll be a massive scrap, and we'll see just how good the Romans are at saving their own ass. Okay? And all the time I'll be loosely looking at the rulebook. I'm not going to spend a lot of time reading rules. It'll just be a matter of, this is kind of what happens, because I just want to have a bit of fun. Josh isn't here, so I'm playing by myself. So yeah, it's probably going to be chaos. But we'll see. We've got another message. Yeah, no. That's about right, yeah. Hopefully that might show up on the video, that message, but someone said like the Romans are too scared to look because the guys are naked. Got the big ding-dongs out. So, without further ado, since the Romans are the ones... protagonists, is that it? The Romans are the protagonists. We're going to do the Romans. So, my Roman hero is in a cuirass, so he's got -2 move. He's only move 4, but basically he's got some legionaries behind him. They're also going to keep up because they're like, you can't overtake the boss, not really. So I'm going to move them as one big mass, 4 inches. So they're walking in. I don't know if that was 4 inches. You can probably see in the video, but I can't see from here. He's walking in, and basically the Briton, well, I mean they're actually Celts or Gauls or whatever, but I'm going to use them as Britons today. So they're going to walk out. They have a move of 6, but they're in chainmail, which is -1 to movement. So they're going to move out from between the houses and go, "Oh, hello! Hello, how are you? Come closer. Come within sword range, mate." So the Romans are then going to move forward. They're going to go... In fact, no, these guys are going to move into the woods. So we're going to move to the edge of the woods, which, if it's anything like old rules for Warhammer and things, that's probably like a half move. So they're in the woods now. I could look up moving through scenery. I think I will actually, just to see if I've got it right. It'd be nice to get it right. So they're in the woods now. Again, the Romans can't see them because these guys are stealthy. They've had plenty and plenty of practice moving into woods and stuff. Have a quick look. You can actually hide. You can hide. 2 consecutive special actions mean you hide. So that's interesting. Terrain. Clear terrain, difficult terrain. La 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 la. Half your move. Right. I got it right. Amazing. It's not dangerous terrain because basically there's no monsters hiding in there. So, Romans now move another 4 inches forward. So, Romans are now going a bit further forward. They're going, oh, hello. Then the Germanic, Britain, Celtic guys, they go forward 5, which is just enough to make contact, almost like I'd planned it. So, these guys are now kind of ironing out the odds and sods of giving us some gold. He's going, yeah, here's some gold. And the guy's going, not enough gold. And he's like, hey, you got loads of gold. Ah, not enough gold. You've got a flag? And they're going, yeah, we've got 2 flags, mate. We've got 2 flags right here. What are you doing about it? Oh, well, I've got 1 flag. And I've got a horn. Well, we've got 2 horns. Well, what are you doing about it? So basically, we're bigger, we're better. Then, they have a little chat. And all the time, his guys are going, where are they all? Where are they? Where are they? What are they doing? Can't see no one yet. Obviously, the Romans are completely oblivious. They think everything's going right. This guy's going, well, how much more gold do you got? And he's like, well, I've got a bit more gold here. Empty your pockets, lads. Think it's going all right. He's like, yeah, cool. All the guys are just standing there going, yeah, cool, boring. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these guys appear. And then these guys go, ha! And this hero charges into the other hero and tries to stab him. Right, so we'll start with that. So, I don't even know who goes first. So, this is basically the start of the game. Turns and phases. During a turn, one player will move and fight with all his units. This is called a player's phase. When he has finished, his opponent takes over and runs his own units runs through his units in his phase. That is a really weird wording of it. At the start of every turn, both players roll the dice, re-rolling any ties. The player with the highest score decides whether they take the first player phase or the second. Right, so I'm going to say left hand for the Brits, right hand, this is my right hand, for the Romans. Highest dice roll, let's see who goes first. It's double 6. I've never rolled a double 6 in my life. Right, so, right hand Romans. A 5, the Romans have got it. Upon seeing the lunge, the Roman hero tells his men to attack! Right, so we've got the phase. So we do actions. We've got move, shoot, melee, special. So, rush into close combat and tear the enemy apart. I think that's what the Romans are going to do. So, he issues some quick orders. His centurions here, who are leading the little war bands, are quite well practiced in tactics. So, upon knowing what's just happened, it's an ambush, it's a trap! Somebody goes, Star Wars! They are going to, this unit is going to move forward into here with that hero, and these guys are going to form up in the field. Not knowing about these guys here, but they can see, rising over the crest of whatever hill it is here, they can see a massive warband coming towards them. So, I'm going to issue an order with these guys. They're going to turn on the spot. Is turning something that needs doing? Forming these actions during the game, sometimes called to make a check. This is done by simply rolling the dice and adding characteristic. If it's 6, you succeed. Right, so, movement. Move action. Terrain? Nope, no terrain. Clear terrain. Climbing, jumping. Line of sight. Cool. So, everything works from player base. So, all I'm going to do here is, I'm keeping them on the movement tray, but unlike in Warhammer, where you'd have to do a test to about face, they've all got a movement of 5. So, I am going to move the Legionnaires into the field. So, that would be a half move, which means 2.5 inches. And I'm going to move them to here. But because we've got some guys at the back, I'm basically going to reform them to have my banner and hero, well, centurion. Obviously, a centurion will be leading a century of, that's 100. Actually, it wasn't, was it? It was 80, I believe. It was 80 in a Roman legion centurion-led thing. So, they're going to move to there, which means they are now what they call in cover. That means they get a bonus to rolling saves and stuff. And these guys are going to form up, because they're in the open, they're going to move forward 5, more or less, able to contact the front rank of there. So I'm just going to amend this. So my hero goes forward to there, the centurion comes forward, like so, and everyone charges into the Britons. And we're going to try and shoot a slaughter. So, I did see a rule with the Romans where if they're all in base contact, they get a special save. I'm just going to double check that now. So, Romans, Imperial Rome. Imperial Rome, the rule for legionnaires, shield wall. They are taught to fight as a unit, protecting the man next to them as much as themselves. If all the models in the unit are in base contact with one another, and the unit has at least 10 models, they gain a bonus parry. There aren't 10 models, there's only 8! Ha ha ha! They gain no bonus parry, but the large shield does give them 2 parry attacks. Defense things. So a parry means you can make your opponent re-roll the dice to hit. Unfortunately, the Brits, German, Celts, whatever, the Brits have got large shields too. They also get granted parry 2. The Romans hit better though. So, we go from, so the special melee unit allows the unit to rush into close combat and tear the enemy apart. So, got no shooting, because I don't think that the healer has got a very long range, so let's just double check the rules for the peeler. As you can see, it's actually quite easy to find stuff. The peeler, it's probably just a javelin. I'm going to say javelin. I really want to find it though, to be honest, just to double check. Peeler. One of the signature weapons of Rome was a pilum. So pilum is the plural, and the peeler is the singular. I think the plural means 2, doesn't it? One of the signature weapons of Rome was a pilum, a spear that was designed to bend or break on impact, thus rendering it unusable by the enemy. Also designed to bend and break an impact to bring your shield down, so you had to drop your shield because it stuck into your shield and made it very difficult to run with a shield. A legionary typically carried 2, collectively called a peeler. So the peeler is the plural. 1 heavy and 1 light, throwing them at charging enemies. The light peeling was thrown first, followed by the heavier at shorter ranges. Used correctly, the peeler could cripple a charge before it reaches the Roman line. It can only be used once every battle by a unit not already engaged in close combat. Against an enemy that is moving to close combat with it, the enemy will gain no bonus for charging and may not use small or large shields to parry the first melee attack of close combat. So, So that basically means they don't throw it at the enemy until they get charged, and all it does is it means that you get no bonus. So, I mean, I want to do some throwing of javelins at people. That's just unfair. So there's only really any point in carrying 1. I bought 2 for these guys. So, I mean, it does say the light peeling was thrown first, followed by the heavier at short ranges. I would say one of these peelums counts as a javelin, and one of them counts as the close combat one. Because it makes no sense otherwise that they would throw them and then throw the smaller one as they got closer. So, yeah, I'm going to overrule this, and the first rule of wargaming is that if you think something's wrong, you can amend it. So I'm going to make an amendment to the way that I'm going to be playing this, and I'm going to say, when you've bought them 2, they've got 1 small and 1 large. The small one can be thrown like a javelin, which has got a range of 10, and the large one counts as the one that you throw before the enemy charges you. So if you get charged, not only are you throwing a small one, but you've also, they don't get the shield bonus when they're first round of combat. That's cool. I like that idea. I'm doing that. Again, at home, if you want to do that, feel free. This is one of the awesome ways of playing your games, is to decide how to adapt it to suit your playstyle. So, they're not in range anyway. 10 inches is around about here. So they're not in range, but they're getting ready. They're getting awesomely ready. So, we are going to go straight to the close combat. So, when it said modifying dice earlier, what that means is everybody hits on a 6 in this game, but you've got modifiers on your cards against this dice. So, for example, your legionary has a melee of 2, which means he would hit on a 4. And the hero's got one of 2 as well. Now, the Gaul warriors have got a melee of 2. The tribesmen have got a melee of 1. So, they also will be hit on a 4. Now, let's have a look at Trouble and Gaul, melee actions. So, I'll go through this kind of like per rule, so that you can see what happens. So we go past shooting. So, weapon characteristics, special rules. Now the special rules are something that comes into it, because there's a lot of special rules for things. So we'll just take that as it happens. So every model in both the attacking and enemy unit makes a melee attack with each melee dice it possesses. Every dice that scores a 6 or more is successful attack. Every 10 models get +1 bonus to its melee check. Each successful attack will deduct 1 wound from the target unit. As with all checks, the roll of 1 is always a miss and a 6 is always a hit. Highly skilled warriors are just as adept at deflecting and dodging incoming attacks as they are at slaying the enemy. If a unit has a melee score that is more than twice as high as the enemy it is fighting, the enemy suffers a -1 to melee checks. To fill gaps. So, yeah, armour, yeah, multiple close combat, multiple units, and ongoing. If both units are still standing in contact with one another at the end of the melee, then they are locked in close combat, the true fight to the death. Once a model is in contact with the enemy, it may not move out of contact. And the player may decide if a unit has no chance against his opponent, it may run away. Locked in close combat, you may choose to perform a move action. However, before your unit can move, the enemy has a free hit on you. Ooh, but you cannot make attacks of your own. If you survive, you can continue to move as normal. If you're in cover, then you can force a reroll on any and all melee checks on your opponent. So not only have you got your shield can do it, but you can also do it with those as well. Now, something to remember is if you're outnumbered like 20 to 1, obviously that would be insane. But if you were outnumbered 20 to 1 and in cover, and you had a big shield, you can only actually make your opponent reroll 2 dice in that phase. It's the phase, it's a whole phase. So you might have used those when you got hit by range, but if somebody charges you in cover and you're only 1 man, you can actually force your opponent to reroll every single hit, which is pretty cool. That looks like to be the basics of that. So let's have a ganders at some of the weapons we're holding. Right, so there's a special rule on charging in the advanced rules. When you do a charge, all your weapons gain the lethal rule and adds 1 to its lethal score. So you end up with lethal 1. If you had a lethal 1 sword already, you would get lethal 2. dual weapon fighting, hit and run, falling. I'm not using any of these, not using challenges, we're just looking for basics. Oh, of course, the advanced rules have weapons as well. So, blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay, we'll just roll some dice. Let's roll some dice. So, we have no stats on our card for what we have. So that's interesting. Is there anything before the advanced rules? Shooting there is, stuff like that, but so we're going to actually have to look at the equipment rules. So I'm not using advanced rules, just equipment rules. Right, so we have a sword. It grants parry. So parry, as I mentioned earlier, parry means that you can make somebody re-roll a dice. A large shield has parry 2. So we have parry 3 on both units, because they're both armed with swords and big shields. Right, that's interesting. And the armour we've got, chainmail, gives you +3 armour, so it's going to be quite a scary fight here. Both units, I mean, they're both about the same points. They're both going to be quite hard to kill. Right, so the only thing we've got to worry about is the standard and the horns. Going to form a third action in its phase. So, actions. Do they speak louder than words? I don't know. So, a single unit is selected to turn, perform 2 actions before you can move on to another unit. The 2 actions must be performed at the same time. You are not allowed to hold an action in reserve. So, can you perform 2 melee actions? That's an interesting one. Yeah, you just literally charge into combat. Once a unit making a melee action moves into contact, the scrap starts. So, basically like charging in a fight, but you get 2 actions per turn. So, I'm guessing you fight twice. We'll fight twice. Let's see. So, these units are literally the same. It's down to how many dice get rolled correctly. So, I've got 8 Romans with swords. So, I'm guessing that's 8 dice. Do they have multiple attacks? 2 dice. 2D. Let's double check that is correct. Go back to where it explains it to us. This is all very handy as well to show you where things are. So 2D, melee dice. Melee dice, this is how many dice the unit rolls when engaged in close combat. So, we have 16 dice for the Romans. Right, the Romans have got a melee of +2, so that's force to hit. As far as I can tell, there are no negative modifiers here, so I'm going to roll this twice, and I'm going to count the amount of hits we get. So, we've got 5. That's a worse roll. 6, 7. So, 7 hits on the Britons. So now we take an armour save. Now, is there any modifiers? Now, we know that these guys have got chainmail. Chainmail gives you a +3 to your armour. So that means they'll have a basically a 3-up save because you start on 6. The shield lets you have a parry. So I did that completely wrong. So I'll start again. this is the whole point of doing it. So we've got to remember that they could parry 2. So that unit has a parry the same as my dice. So they can force me to re-roll all successes. So they're going to re-roll them 1 success out of 8 dice, followed by 4 success. So that's 5 successes in total. That was key, that. Then we'll look at armour. So, go back to the melee. I like the fact it's quite close together. You don't have to flick through like loads and loads and loads of pages to find something. It is foolish or insanely brave warriors who go into battle with at least a little protection. A unit with armour who suffers damage from a ranged attack may escape harm altogether as the armour absorbs the hit. When, oh, that's in shooting. Armour is very useful in close combat and is treated the same as ranged attacks, so that's fine. Yeah, so their armour is +3. So I've got to make saves for the Britons here. So their armour is a 3, and they get 2. Basically failed. So what I'll do is I'll put these 2 men at the back like that. Like you do in Warhammer, in fantasy battles, you have the combat resolution. Because we fight at the same time, I'm going to do all the attacks simultaneously. So, the dead men get to fight. 2, 4, 6, 8. So, I can make this unit re-roll all the dice, because I've got parry 2, same as these guys with the swords, parry 1 as well, so enough parries in there to make these successes, you know, different. Just want to double check if Romans are harder to hit. You think they would be, but you never know. So, Imperial Rome. Imperial Rome Legionary. I'm guessing that's just took into account with the shield wall, bonus parry. I mean, you can't reroll the reroll, so what's the point? If you're in a testudo, you can re-roll armour checks against ranged, disbanded immediately when you perform a melee action. The unit outcomes 2 models. This may be done as a move, so you can't have testudo in melee. So the Romans are probably going to take some casualties here, unless I'm doing it wrong, of course, and then never mind. So roll to hit the Romans. And we'll obviously force the parry. So they're hitting on 4s because the Gauls have got a +2 melee. And they end up with 2 hits from the first wave of sword blows. The second lot, from being 2, becomes only 2. Lots of 1s, 2s and 3s in there. Right, Romans have to take 2 armour saves. And we've got 2 successes, so in true Roman form, the Roman legionaries have actually overcome the Britons' infantry. But the important one that we're all looking for is the 2 heroes, the hero fight. So, do heroes have anything special? Oh, of course, yes. What is Healing Hands? Romans have a special rule called Healing Hands. Page 47. Healing Hands. Healing Hands. Between battles, the hero can heal 1 injury on a hero except himself. This will negate 1 injury, for example, if a hero sustained crippling leg. Alright, so between the scenarios, you can basically heal somebody, even if you don't have Healing Hands as an ability. So, that's not as massive as I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be like reroll armour saves and stuff. Right. So now the heroes. So the Roman hero goes first. The Roman hero has melee +2 and 2 dice. Well, that's interesting. And he's got a sword. He hasn't got a shield though. So probably a bad idea to have this guy in combat. So we have 2 dice, and I'm just going to do hero and hero. I don't know if this is how it works, but why not? It's like challenging, but nah. So the hero is going to hit. He's got +2 melee. I thought a hero would have a better prowess than that, but As we said earlier, he's just a poor man in a nice uniform. He gets 2 1s. Basically, he has fluffed it and missed. The the English, the Briton fights back, and he hits him twice. And we've only got a sword, so we're going to parry one of these. So I'm going to parry that one, which turns into a 1. Lots of 1s going on here. I've got a whole pile of 1s here. So that's 1 hit. So my commander's got to make an armour save. His armour is a cuirass, so that is +3. So we're going to have to roll a 3-up save, which has got 6. He's easy, he's fine. So he survived that one. Unfortunately, the barbarian tribe hasn't. But as we read earlier, you don't actually flee. At what point do you need to take a bravery check, I ask you? Well, let's find out, see where it's covered in the book. So, shooting, special actions. See, I would have thought that you'd roll a bravery check once you took some casualties. Let's have a look what it says in the main page for what that check is used for, maybe. How mentally tough the unit is. So far, I haven't actually seen anything about bravery. Interesting. It covers cover, ranged attack table, armour, goes through melee. I wonder if that's an expanded rule is bravery. Normally it's something that you cover in the normal rules. So, let's go quickly to the advanced rules and see where bravery falls. Summary. Challenges, charging, falling, dual weapon fighting, hit and run units, knockdowns, leading units, stunning, weapon special rules, single hero, leader friendly units by making A unit can use a hero's bravery score for any will to fight checks. What the hell is a will to fight check? And where is it covered? So this is okay, so after weapon special rules is will to fight. It's an advanced rule. So basically so you add your bravery to the score. If the result totals 6 or more, the unit toughs out whatever adversary faces it. Yeah, they're not very brave, these Gaul warriors. So, even the most battle-hardened warriors knows that sometimes better to run away than fight to the bitter end. This is represented by a bravery characteristic. At various points in a fight, a unit may be called upon to make a will to fight check. This is done by rolling the dice and adding your bravery score. If the total is 6 or more, the unit toughs out whatever adversity faces it and stays to fight. If the check is failed, a number of models are removed from the unit equal to the amount by which your will to fight is failed by. I feel a bit of AOS coming in here. Right, unless Games Workshop copied that off somebody else. I mean, it's fairly got copy, it's not copyrighted, but yeah. So, throughout SPQR there are times when will to fight must be made, however units always make an immediate will to fight check when faced with the following circumstances. If a unit has line of sight and is within 12 inches of a friendly hero who is killed. If a unit's warband is reduced to 1/4 of its starting models. And if a unit is reduced to half or 1/4 of its original starting model rounding down. So would that be if you hit 1/4, you take it, and then when you hit a half, you take it, and then... So I'm guessing when you've lost half your current unit strength, you take a test. And if you pass that, when you get to 1/4, you take another test. probably. So we've only killed 2 guys out of 8, which is, you know, they've still got 3/4 of the guys. So you're not being reduced to that, that's fine. But you can voluntarily retreat if you want, but these guys aren't, they're defending their village, they're staying there to fight. So, now then, after that combat, we've got a second action with the Roman legionaries who are going to fight again. I don't know whether you can do that, but I'm assuming you can, since there's nothing telling me that combat isn't an action by itself, shooting is an action by itself. So we'll have another round of melee. So, we might still, if we get 2 casualties, cause these guys to run away. And if they do, I mean, seriously, this is a very quick game, because I'm hoping they don't run away, because I want these guys to come in and slaughter. 2, 4, 6, 8. Obviously, bearing in mind that you would normally have started here and moved forward. There'd have been plenty of time for archers to take the, you know, but I don't have 3 hours to play the game. Reroll them. 2 hits from the first round. And reroll those because of successes. Again, we've got enough shields and swords in there to force it. Another 1, so that's only 3. So 3 guys get hit. Aha! We have failed 1. So, I wonder what weapons have a negative effect on armour. I'm wondering. Could be interesting to find out. Right, so, next thing we've got is the Britons fighting back. So, 8 dice from the Britons. Oh no, we've lost 1, haven't we? 2 even. So the 2 that died earlier, we've got 6 dice now. And we can force these to re-roll. Unfortunately, the Brits have just fluffed that dice roll with a 1, 2 2s and 3 3s. I mean, 1 1, 2 2s, 3 3s. Couldn't have wrote that any better. Right, next round of attacks, because they get 2 attacks each. And the Romans are going to force them to re-roll 3 of those, which equals 1 hit. But does it land a blow and sever the artery? It doesn't. So, wow, Romans have withstood another round of combat from the Britons. Question that I've got though is, do the heroes kill each other? So, said hero versus said hero, Roman, double 6. Unfortunately, Briton guy has got a shield and a sword, so he can force 3 rerolls. Only got 2 dice. We have 1 hit in the end. Make an armour save with the chainmail, which is 3 up. Oh, he took a wound! I've never seen such a shower of shite in my life. Right, so that hero is down by a wound. I'm going to put a counter here. 1 wound off. So we've actually, Mr. I'm Rubbish, that when I was doing the video before, I was saying how crap this hero was. Because he can't afford anything. The model, he ain't got shield or anything. So, yeah. Might be an interesting thing to have a shield by his side, holding a shield or something, because your model is as depicted. He's not depicted with a shield, so therefore doesn't get a shield. Would mean he could have, obviously, took less hits maybe. So, 1 wound there, but Briton guy's still alive, he gets to fight back. So he gets 2 misses. Obviously, he's lost an arm, probably his sword arm. So that's 1 wound off. We're still not at half strength, so that would end that round. These guys could have made 2 actions, but I didn't realise it was 2 actions when I did it, so I'm going to say that is their full turn done. They would have probably said, let's move forward and shoot with their orders, and don't leave me in the lurch, protect my flank. So, over to the tribesmen. Right, hell for leather over the hill. These guys are moving. They're going to go double move, because I don't reckon they'll clear the ground between them, but I reckon, do you reckon that's 16 between there and there? I'm going to risk it. So I'm going to move the guys over here 6 inches and try and shoot at these Romans with their javelins. So, I've just measured that. It is 16 to the corner. So if I put my finger here, and I move those guys over here. Now, you would normally measure from model to model, but for ease of game, I'm going to say it's base to base when they're on these movement trays. Only if they need to line up will I say it's model to model. So, these guys are going to do a double move, so I'm going to move 6 and then probably try and get into here. Now, I don't know what the rules are. We normally would say, to be fair, if you're moving forward, you move 6, and then if you want to move into these, you'd move how far it was, then half the rest of it. But I reckon if it follows the bolt action rules, you would move up to the edge of it and then move through it. But I could look it up. I think I probably should, just so you guys at home can know the movement rules. Moving into cover. So, we have cover. Some terrain offers cover, dangerous terrain, rough ground, hazardous, slow a unit down. Includes steep hills, woods, ruins, barricades, anything that looks like it would be difficult to cross. Any models within the unit trying to cross it will have their move halved during the move or melee action. So, that says if you're going to move into something that will be difficult to move through, you actually half your move. So, it would be sensible to do 2 moves and see how far it is. So we'll go 6. 6 gets the unit to there. And again, they're not wearing armour, so they can move quite fast. And then, so that's the edge of the dice. And then it's actually 3 to a little bit in there. So, these guys managed to close the gap to here. Right? Like so. They've closed the gap. Now there's archers in this wood. So let's double check the range for bows. And we'll see. Where is it? We'll see. I love saying that. It's probably in the weapon rules, which are, again, a lot easier to find things in this book. I like it. So, bows, 20 inches. Oh, I reckon we've got range on that. So these bowmen in the woods are now going to open up on the Romans with the backs to them. Not even realising they're there. So, let's have a go at this. Right. A two-handed sword got lethal 1. Oh, I'll just double check what lethal does for you, because it's going to come up in a minute anyway. So, lethal. No idea where lethal is. That's interesting. Lethal. Armour checks. The lethal score is used to penetrate opponent's armour and is also the number of wounds removed. However, lethal weapon cannot remove more than 1 model from a single. So, lethal X is the negative modifier to your armour save. So, that's very interesting. Romans are particularly susceptible to javelins, guys, because a javelin has lethal 2. That's very interesting. Sling's a lethal 1. So, throwing a stone at a Roman actually is better than firing an arrow. And interestingly, slings have got a range of 30, yet a bow's got a range of 20. I never knew that slings could fire further than a bow. That's something you knew, Sean? Yeah. Sean knows everything. Sean says yes, he knew that.
But a sling requires a special action every time it fires.
Hang on. You're slow. Okay. So you're going by the game rules rather than real life?
Yeah.
Okay. So in real life you didn't know that, did you? That
no,
slings.
A sling can't fire anywhere near as an actor.
Even one of the short bows that were used in this sort of time. I mean, obviously you'd never expect to fire as long as a longbow, but still, I mean, jeez. Okay, so Apparently slings have got a longer range than bows. Somebody clarify whether that is true or not, please, because that is just messed up. But range 20 means these guys in the woods are in range. Now then, how does that field work for cover? Because this is something that will probably come up in everyone's games. Does intervening cover count as a negative to shoot? Line of sight, range, making a range attack, cover. A target can sometimes be obscured by terrain and other units, making it much harder to hit or hurt. When checking for line of sight, you may find a unit is partially hidden by a building, rock, or something similar. If more than half of the single model is obscured, it has cover. If more than half the model in the unit are similarly obscured, the entire unit will benefit from cover. There are two kinds of cover. Light cover. This is cover that obscures the target, but otherwise provides no great protection. Okay. I mean, it's a field of corn. Usually that would grow around about waist height. So you could argue the fact that this cornfield gives cover to these Romans because it's between the two units. Now, a bow fires over the cornfield. So, I mean, I would like to say that a cornfield would make you a little bit obscured, a little bit harder to hit. Especially in America. I mean, if it's an American cornfield, like corn on the cob field, poof, you won't be able to see the guy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a decision on a dice roll. On a 4+, this cornfield is sufficiently tall to cause impediment to the archers shooting at the Romans. So not necessarily because of the flight of the arrows, because the arrows go over, but just the ability for these guys to see where the Romans are. Okay? And the dice roll is a 5, so that cornfield is sufficient to impede the archers firing. Right. Also, we've got long range. So, long range is over half. We are over half range. It's -1 for being over half range. Then, we've got the cover, which is light cover, not heavy cover, light cover. Heavy cover is like massive thick walls. -1 again. So, our shooting ranged is +1 for tribesmen. If they have enough models, they've got a bravery increase. Okay, so that's not the case. So we've got 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Well, there's 11. Remember these on 1 wound. 12 dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 12 dice. And we're going to shoot at the Romans with a -2 to hit. But as we know, 6s always hit. So basically, we're hitting on 6s. Now, the interesting thing here, and I'm going to make another call here. I'm not sure if it's in the book, because I think it's simplified sufficiently to make it an easy game to play. I would say that these guys are facing that way, which means their shields wouldn't help them from these archers being shooting at them from behind. It's a bit of a tough cookie, because obviously you would expect, facing each other and stuff. But, I'm sufficiently British. I want the British to win this. So let's find... where the hell is it? Equipment, armour? Where's shield? Oh, shield is there. Large shield grants 2 advance rule against ranged attacks. Large shield flees from close combat. It must make a bravery check. If it fails, it drops it and loses its shields. Doesn't actually mention the shield's got to face the person, but I am saying the shield has to face the direction you're being shot at, because you can't just put your shield behind your back without knowing who's shooting you. So, 12 dice, hit on 6s. Could be from dead Romans. I got 2 6s there. Right, so caught completely off guard by a hail of arrows. Do these Romans save themselves or not? We have no specials for bows. We're just going to take a normal save. Oh, Roman down! Right. Oh, which one? Guy with the sword has been took out by an arrow to the back. Poor dude. So, casualties are mounting. We've got a pile of casualties. Where are we going to put the pile? Put the pile here, look. Pile of casualties. There's the pile for the Brits. There's the pile for the Romans. We've got 3 on 1 at the minute, which isn't a bad trade-off considering the amount of models on both sides. So well done, tribesmen. Well done. And they can make 2 actions, can't they? Wow. Okay. Now it does say you finish your actions before, but I did say they would shoot at them if they could. So I'll do this again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Again, we hit on 6s. And until it's their turn, they don't get the shield bonus. Another hit! Massive flurry of arrows have just dropped down on these guys, but he saved it. His armour is sufficient. Then we've got the javelins from over here. 10 inches, we said they were in range, didn't we? So there's 12 javelins. Now then, that's over half range, and the 1 shot. So, range is 10, half range is 5, so we're -1 to hit. And they've got shields to the front. So unlike the archers, we can make them re-roll successful hits. So the odds of these javelins actually hitting, I think, are pretty meh. But if they do hit, they've got lethal 2. Now lethal 2 would reduce these guys' armour to 5 or 6. And they would slay a hero with 2 wounds on 1 hit. So that could be interesting in your games. Targeting the heroes. Not a very chivalrous thing to do. So, we've got 12 dice. Throw our javelins! Right, the javelins are being thrown. 2 impacted. But are the Roman shields enough to save them? Oh, right, the reason that is the case is they've got ranged +1. So it's 6s to hit because it's ranged +1, but -1 for being over half range. So, javelins are 2 denarii. Are they worth it? I don't think so, because the Romans are making them re-roll this. No. Large shields against javelins are definitely not worth it unless your opponent is very, very lucky. For 2 denarii, when the man costs 9, you could have extra men. I bought 2 javelins each, did I? I think I bought 2 javelins each. So, I mean, I'll have another go at it. May as well throw all the javelins. But that cost me 4 points. Again, 2 hits. But the Romans are re-rolling these. Missed. The Romans have used in this turn, they've used the shields. But the fortunate thing is there's nobody else coming to get them. So the shield reroll will reset in their turn. So that's interesting. Just roll over that I spent 4 denarii to make a 9-point model 2 javelins, and they've done nothing. And now the javelins are useless because they've been fired. Now, that's not a very good trade-off if you ask me. Not a very good trade-off at all. I'm just going to double check. Warriors, yeah, 2 denarii each. You can have 3 javelins, but when you're fighting Romans, I mean, seriously, if you were even fighting against normal warriors with shields, if you can get rid of the shields, that's a bonus, but the ability to parry all the incoming hits from javelins, I just don't think that's what's worth the denarii. That's basically every guy, or every 2 men is 1 man more. So I had 12 men there. I could have had 18 men for the same value, really. Well, about 17, I think, because it'd be 9. Yeah, I'm not impressed with javelins. But never mind, if they do hit, they hit with the thunder. So, you know, let's see if these guys can hit in their turn. Right then. So they're done, they're done, they're done. Time to fight some combat. So it's the Britain's turn first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men. 5 men left. So we can roll all them dice at once. Again, it's forced to hit because they've got melee +2. So 6, 5, 4. Shields, gonna re-roll that because the Romans have got shields. And successfully get 3. Armour save now for the Romans. There's no lethal in here, so we lost 1 Roman. So 1 Roman dies. I don't think we're going to lose any more because, well, not going to take enough for a morale check. Romans fight back. Now that guy gets to fight back now before the next round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 men, and that's 1 out of each unit gone now. 8 men, roll to hit, force to hit, again, large shields, resets at the start of their turn, ends up in no hits. Next round of combat, because I've got 2 attack dice each, don't forget, ends up with only 2, so out of 14 dice, 16 dice, only 2 hit. Armour saves for the Gauls. Armour save for the Britons. 1 dies. So that is almost at half strength because the hero joined them. So that makes a unit of 9. So not quite half. Have another round of combat. So there's now 1, 2, 3, 4 men left. And re-roll. 2 hits, armour save, both made. Then we'll do the Romans fight back, then we'll do the heroes together. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 2 more dice after this. So Roman legionnaires. And again, we haven't actually had enough hits to stop the shields and swords working, so bonus. Those are that round, and then we'll roll 2 more for the extras, which is 3 hits, armour saves for the Brits, all saved. Now the heroes, I'm going to do 4 dice apiece because they've got 2 attacks each, although if the German, I keep saying Germanic because the Germanic models, if the Brit actually dies in the first combat, then he won't get to attack again. So his round gets 2 hits. We'll parry 1 with our sword into a hit. So 2 armour saves. Ooh! It's 1 wound apiece now. The Roman fights back, gets 2 hits, but the Gaul can parry it. Which is 1 hit. The Briton, let's call them Gauls from now on, takes his armour save, which is a pass. So the Roman used his parry and the Briton used 2 parry, which means the Briton has got 1 parry left for the next fight. This Roman though cannot stop this. So hit on 4s, 2 hits, straight to armour save. Oh, he saved it! Oh, it's tense. The Roman fights back. Oh, he gets 1 hit, but forced for reroll with a sword parry. Oh, he's managed to evade the parried blow. Does it make contact with the guy's head and sever an artery? No, he ducks at the last minute. So that is an ensuing combat. That is amazing. Then we've got those done, those done, those done, those done. It's now the Romans' turn. So I reckon these guys, I don't think they're going to get there in time. So Romans, any movement, they're going to stay in the fight. These guys, ooh, should we close the gap a little bit? Nah, let's just, well, we throw the javelin that I said I can throw, and then we've got the one that we can throw when charging. What the hell? Let's move forward, try and close it. I don't think it is 7.5 inches, but let's try. It is 7.5. So they get a 2.5 inch move through the cornfield, and then they're going to lob the first pilum. I think that was the pilum, was the individual. So each one is going to throw his small pilum. I love saying that word, pilum. Sounds like a Mr. Bean thing. So Romans have ranged +1. There is no there's no negative for long range, but I've not thought this through. We're in a cornfield, so it's -1 to hit, which means it's a 6. If the Romans had stayed where they were, that would have put more distance between the Britons and them, meaning they would only get to fight once in combat. Now I've moved them forward, these guys can move in, do a combat, and a second round of combat. Ah, shit. Right, mental note for next time, guys. Just throw your pilums at long range, because you always hit on 6s. Oh, no. And they've got large shields, so I've got to re-roll these. Don't matter, because I missed with everything. Oh, no. So the move and the shot, and now they're probably going to die against 20 Gauls. Oh, dear. Right, this combat here. We get 2 rounds, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. 2 attacks each. Reroll those. Right, they're the ones that hit. The Britons are going to make us re-roll the ones that hit because of the shields. Obviously it resets on this round. And we end up with those, which then mean armour save for the Brits. Oh my god, 2 have been slayed! Literally cleaved in 2. Right, then the hero. So we'll do the hero now. The hero is inspired and gets 1 hit, but we're going to parry it with the other hero from the Brits. And it is a miss. So now the Brits fight back. These 2 can fight. 2, 4, and then the other guys, because they're not dead yet, because it's all simultaneous. And we get half hit, but we've got shields and swords, so let's parry these. 1 hit. Right, 1 armour save for the Romes. Oh, he's dead. Okay, so a second round. We have the Romans, and any overkill goes onto the hero because it's part of the unit. So we've got 1 Roman dead, that leaves us with 6, so 12 dice. And they didn't make us re-roll enough last time to lose this, because if you were counting, you could just say they did the parry. So we're going to force a re-roll on 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 6, 12, yeah, probably re-roll all of them. And we've got that many hits, this many armour saves. 1 more dies, so the Hornblower's gone. He gets to attack back though. So the Roman hero gets 1 hit, which will parry into nothing. So the Roman hero is doing really badly. The Germ-British, they're Germ-British guys. The Brits get to fight back. 1 guy died, so we've got 2, 4, and then the hero. So I'm doing hero on hero for awesomeness. Their attacks back. We'll parry that with Roman awesomeness into no hits. The hero, can he save the day? Ooh, he has. Right, we've already used our parries, so armour saves. Oh, Roman guy down. We have lost our leader. The Roman leader is down. And we know what that does. In the rules for running away, it's a bravery check when your hero dies. So, shall we see? Bravery check for the Romans. They have bravery 2. Right. Well, bravery 2. Is there any modifier for a hero dying? Oh no, this is gonna go wrong. So, this could be the end of the Romans. Flee in close combat. No, it was after that one in advanced rules. Will to fight. Okay. No negatives. So we are a 4 up. So it's a single dice, and the unit loses as many models as it's failed by. So we got a 3, which means we failed by 1. So one guy legs it from that combat, and these guys, one guy goes from this unit as well, so they've been reduced by 1. Okay, so we're over to the Brits. Right. Now the archer's going to be a bit stuck here because you can't shoot into combat as far as I'm aware. So we'll do charge here, which is a move and a move. If the distance... In fact, yeah, if I hadn't moved forward, they wouldn't even be in combat now. I'd actually get to charge them. So they're making the charge. Now the second heavy pilum by the Romans gets thrown as they charge into combat. So they're making a charge move. Now, I believe you do everything before the rest of the units, so we should probably do that combat now. So, we'll do the combat now, which is 20 Gauls. I'm pretty sure I remember Gauls having some special... Britons having some special rule. The same as the Gauls. Druids, horsemen, warriors, +1 bravery. If it's got 20 +2 bravery on 20 models and +1 on 10. And a unit of warriors that charges gains a bonus melee dice for each model in the unit, regardless of whether they make contact with the enemy. So, wow. Wow. Well, I mean, there wasn't many of them able to get contact. So, I would say the front rank plus the rest. So that's 2, 4, 6 guys, because it was quite a distance. 6 guys is 12 dice. The Romans have got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 forced rerolls. So, cover. What did cover grant them? Is it -1 to hit? Melee attacks. Let me do my cover. Then its opponent can force it to re-roll any and all. Wow. Once the melee action has been completed, the attacker will not suffer any penalty for future melee actions against the same unit, as it is assumed to have clambered over or through the cover. So, basically the Romans can make them re-roll all the dice, so yeah. So that's the initial attack, which has caused 2 hits. I'll take the armour save for that now. That is 1 dead Roman. And then the 20 attacks for the fact that they are wildly charging forth. So, wildly charging forth only caused 3 hits. Reroll didn't cause any hits, but we've got another 8 dice, because obviously 20 off with 12 off it. There we go, there's 8 dice. Roll them. Again, we can force the reroll on all the dice. No hits! So, actually the Romans have weathered that with only 1 casualty. The Romans will fight back. The Romans have got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 attacks. Only once though, because there's only been 1 combat in this turn for these guys. Oh my giddy ants! Wow, Romans have done really well there. But large shields makes it 5. Unfortunately, these guys wear no armour. So we are looking at a 6 to save them. None of them, so 5 have died. So in exchange for 1 Roman, we've lost 5 British tribesmen. So, as you can see, against the more heavily armoured Brits with the chainmail, it's pretty even. It was just a bit of bad luck for the Brits over there, you know. But then the Roman hero died, so that was also awesome. But here, we are dropping like flies. We are going to send this other unit into the field to try and flank and save this guy. So they're going to double move, and they're going to move 6 to there. Next turn, they should make combat. The archers, on the other hand, are going to come out the wood, and they're going to do the same. They're going to move 6, gets them there. Come out the wood, they've had the salvo, there's no target now, everyone's in combat, so they're going to come in, and with their knives or whatever they've got, they're going to stick arrows in people's eyes and things, like on a film. They're going to move forward. That is the end of the Germanic. No, it's not. They've not been yet. So, combat. We've got the lone... I keep saying Germanic. The lone Brit gets 2 hits, but we're going to parry those 2 hits. And get 1. Armour save. Ooh, we made it. Hero is going to slay somebody now, hopefully. Both hit, but we've got enough parries to sink a battleship. Both missed. We will do the Romans. We have 10 attacks with the Romans and only 6 parries. So, this could be interesting. 2, 4, 6. Exactly 6 with 1 spare. 1 definitely hits. The Romans have fought back. Ooh, with vengeance. They don't like the fact the leader died. Armour saves. 3 ups. Oh, heroic. Love it. They made the armour saves. So, we're going to fight another round with these Brits. The first guy's missed. And the hero. Oh, bad news. They've completely fluffed the attacks without even needing to parry. So, Romans fight back. And remember, there's no parries now because we used all the parries in the previous. So, they are actually hits. Difficult when you get down to a couple of men. Saves. We've only got 2 wounds remaining. 1 on the hero. And the guy's only got 1 wound. Oh! They've both been killed! So, we've got a dead hero on the side of the Brits. So this is both heroes now. The Brit hero and the Roman hero. Killed in mortal combat. There you go, Mortal Kombat theme tune in the vid. Right, so we've now got bravery checks for everybody within 12 inches. So the hero was within 12 inches of everybody. Right, let's see how many guys run away. We have bravery +1, bravery +1, and bravery +1. Because they've got 10 guys. So a Gaul warrior has a bravery of normally +1. Right. That means that they've got +2, which means their bravery is 4. They're actually quite brave. So this unit here, get a 4, they're fine. This unit here, get a 5, they're fine. And the archers, get a 6, they've aced it. Well, I never. They are braver than the Romans. And it is now the Roman turn. Interestingly, that Roman unit is able to go that way. So, we will have these guys charge. I really should be charging the archers, but they're probably too far away in that field, so they're going to take a long time to get to me. I'm going to go that way and charge them. So, what we'll do is we'll make a 5-inch move with this guy. He goes to there. 5-inch move with that guy gets him to the edge. that guy would get into the edge. This fella here would go 2.5 into the cornfield, and this fella would go up to the edge. Now, then we'd do the charge, which is 2.5. And 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and 2.5. So everyone can make it to a British soldier. A Briton. So the Romans get in. This fella, just for sake of it, I'm going to do that with him. Right. So we'll do the rounds of combat now. So these 5 Romans and those 5 Romans, let's see if we can kill enough men to actually win the day. Okay, so, fingers crossed. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And we've got enough parries here to stop any attack. And the Romans have fluffed it completely with only 1 hit out of 10 dice. Which is parried to be no hits. I don't believe it. Right, so, we can't move anyone in before the next turn. They would move round in their turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. 12 dice on the Romans. Let's see what happens. The Romans can parry 15 of these. So we'll parry the first 6, which is 3 hits. Oh, 1 dead. Another Roman dies. Then the Romans will fight back. This time we've only got 4 men. So 2, 4, 6, 8. And again, we've got enough parries in that unit to parry all the dice. Oh, all hits. 6 is to save. No saves. So 4 of the British warriors are dead. Then we've got the attacks back. So, again, it was 12 attacks back. You assume in this one that you've got enough... sugar. We assume in this game that you have enough guys to fill the gaps. So, I don't know where that dice has gone, I've just lost it. So, we'll roll another one. So 1, parry these, 2 hits, another 1 dead. The Romans are dropping like flies. Right, that is both units reduced to half strength, is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. The British aren't at half strength, but the Romans are. So it's a morale check for the Romans. They've aced it, they've got a 5, it's fine. So, but we've had a lot of casualties here. The other unit of Romans here are going to hit the javelin guys. They also wear no armour, so this should be interesting. Fortunately, they're in a field, which gives them cover, so they can make me re-roll all the dice. Not that it matters, they've got shields, they can do that anyway. So that's an interesting thing. So, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Romans hit. Re-roll the successes. We have only 1. And it turns out to be a dead Brit. So, the Brits fight back. They have 2, 4... well, not really. They've got probably 1, 2... I'd say 4 guys in combat, because... well, let's say 5. I've made contact with 5. Because it's got to 1-1, it really. And... we're going to force 4 rerolls with parry, which is 2 hits. Oh, a Roman dead. He dies. So now the unit is at half strength. So after this round of combat we fight. We will have to take a morale check. 8 dice. Sugar. 1 hit, which is parried into nothing. Is this going to be the end of that Roman legionary? We've got a shower of shite again. I shouldn't be doing demo gaming. parry, 2 hits. Oh, 2 dead Romans! Wow! I've never seen anything as horrible as this. Okay, I also forgot about standards, which I believe a standard bearer adds +1 to your bravery. Obviously, I probably should have said that before. I mean, I spent the bloody gold on them. Let's find standards, just so you know. Standard bearer, standard bearer, standard bearer, standard bearer, standard bearer, standard bearer. Oh, reroll failed bravery checks. So the only one that would have had to have done it is that guy there. He would have re-rolled it into a 2, and more guys would have run away. So that's probably good I forgot that. But unfortunately, it's a bravery check over here. So they've got a 2. I can re-roll that with my standard bearer into a 5, which means they succeeded. So even though they took a pummeling by that unit of Brits there, they actually are staying. It's over to the British unit. Right, so whew, I think if it was a fair fight, the Romans would have probably had this. But I ain't got much confidence in them being able to fight off what's remaining. But it's going to be a massive last stand for these guys. This must be the 9th Legion. I'm sure it's the 9th Legion that got killed off. Right, so we're going to start with these guys. They're going to move forward to there, just in case. And then we will fight combat. So we are going to surround. So we're going to move that and put 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Take those off the base and put 1 there. And then move them. And I don't think they'll be able to make it. I've not looked up how whether you can like keep moving around and stuff, but yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we've got 9 rerolls. 2, 4, 6, 8. These twice, and we can't do anything with cover. Oh my! 6 rerolls used out of the 9 we have. Hasn't really produced much better. So, saves 1 Roman dead. That leaves us with 1 reroll. So, he fights back though. So, we've got 6 dice. The shields from the guys are going to force those re-rolling, which make 3. Turn it into no saves. So, 3 guys are dead. Now the next attack ensues, so that is same again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 dice twice. 2, 4, 6, 8. We have those, and I've got 1 reroll left from the shields and stuff, which is not it's not a successful reroll. It was a hit. So saves. Oh, the Romans lose 1 man. It's left to the Centurion to actually win the day. So the only hope the Centurion has is that this unit rolls a double 1 for its morale. Right, he gets to fight back though with this guy who just died. So that's 4 attacks. Unfortunately, there's probably enough shields and swords in there to make them re-roll the successes. Get 1 hit, which becomes a failed save. So, they've lost half the unit. He lost down to a quarter. So, the Centurion will take his first. A 1! But we're within 12 of that standard there, so we get to re-roll that into a 4, which is a success. Now, the British tribesmen get a 3, which is a fail. They have a standard bearer, so they can re-roll that into a 2. Which is actually worse than it was before. So they have lost 2 guys because it's 2 lower than their 4. 2 of their guys melt away and run off the battlefield. We'll do the other unit over there. So these guys definitely get to go around. So put as many as we can around these 2 Romans. So it's 2 at the front, 2 at the side, 2 at the back. Which leaves 3 men spare. So those 3 men can be the ablative wounds from the unit. Let's see if we can kill the rest of the Romans. So, 2, 4. 4 attacks from the Romans. Do that first because it's easier. We can make them re-roll these. No hits. And we've got 8 attacks, so this is 11. So that was 11. 5 more. Makes that many hits. That's all the hits from that round of combat. We can force them to re-roll 6 of those. 2, 4, 6. So re-roll those. And we haven't done much better. These are the armour saves. Oh dear. Survey says only 1 Roman dead. Amazing. But it's got to be the standard bearer, because the champion isn't going to die, is he? Champions don't die. Then we have the attacks again. So these dice, plus 5 extra. Misses, actually 5 there. That's our total. We've got no re-rolls on this because we've used them all. So when they get down to low re-rolls, you need your Romans in cover all the time. I've got to make all these armour saves, otherwise that Centurion dies. And survey says, oh, he only fails 2 out of the 8 he had to take. But unfortunately it's enough to kill him. So he is took down by the Javelineers. So the Javelineers go, "Rrrr!" Successful. Interesting how the Javelin guys, who came in second and had less men, have survived better than the guys with the massive horde. So it's now the Roman turn. Right, Centurion guy is putting 2 attacks on the Brits, who I probably called Germanics last time. Reroll that. Forced to reroll, still a 6. Can he save it? No. Monsieur Britte dies. Mr. Britas of the Britas Empire. If anyone's ever seen that. Right, so Brits fight back. We can only force 3 rerolls. And that is gonna kill me because, oh, talk about being dragged down by your face. Save, say, only 1 failed. 2, 4, 6 saves, 1 failed. But it was the important one which drags him down and rip his head off. So, successfully, I say successfully, the British Horde has won the day. But the British Horde was 741 points versus 572 points. And I think, what was it I said? It was like the the big unit of swordsmen wouldn't have been there. So that would have made it a fairer fight. I think that worked quite well as a game. It was rather exciting. It had, for me, everything that I wanted from War Games, which is rolling dice, lots of dice. There's probably some rules that I got wrong somewhere. Mm-hmm. Sean agrees with me. What did I get wrong?
It's you used facing rules for the shields when you were shooting them, whereas that only applies to phalanxes.
Ah, yes, but I made that bit up.
Mm.
So that wasn't wrong. I just said there was nothing in the shield rules.
Yeah.
So yes, as Sean says, phalanxes have got the directional rules. So, in theory, the Romans should have had the ability to make the archers re-roll, because you should be able to basically, see who's shooting you. But I did say at the time that this round of shooting is at the backs and they don't have the shield, and next turn they would turn around to face them. I think that should be a rule in it, to be honest. Because the phalanxes have a fixed facing. Whereas I think if you're hiding behind a tree and then shoot somebody, it's not enough time for it to spin around and see you. It's too busy with guys in front. So, but other than that, I think we did quite well with that. I think it's a pretty good rule set. It works. Quite like it. Javelins, no point. Do not buy javelins for your guys. Unless you are fighting guys without any shields. Against guys without shields, you are going to mow them down like there's no tomorrow. Definitely bows and that against them. So it's probably better to have a few bows or javelins in your warband. Personally, I'd rather have, if it's Romans, the auxilia with bows, because they come with a sword, I believe. Just no shield. Just double check that one. Definitely think auxilia, rather than Romans armed with peeler, because I did forget though, didn't I, that you can't use shields on the round you charge. But there was that many of the Brits in that unit, they could probably just use all the parries from the swords. So, pull me up on that one. Imperial Rome has got the auxilia. And let's go with finding... Oh, Imperial Rome. No! Spaz. It was Caesar's Rome that I didn't want. So, Heroes of Legend, Germanicus. Wasn't Germanicus the guy who went against them? Oh no, it was Germanicus avenged the Roman defeat in the Teutoburg Forest. So it wasn't the Black Forest, it was the Teutoburg Forest. Black Forest is probably somewhere else. I mean, right. Auxilia Archer is 8 denarii. So I paid 30 denarii for a Roman legionnaire with 2 peeler. That's 6 denarii for something that did sweet FA in game terms. Compared to just buying an auxiliary archer for 8 denarii who comes with a bow and a chainmail shirt. Now, chainmail shirt is an interesting one because chainmail shirt, I believe, is only a +2 armour. Where was it? Equipment, isn't it? So, equipment, where are you? I was saying all the way through this, oh, it's really easy to find stuff. And literally, it's these 2 pages here that I keep flicking past. Right, chainmail shirt compared to chainmail. Oh no, chainmail. Oh, well, chainmail shirt is basically what normal legionaries have. So basically, the difference between an auxilia and normal is melee, bravery, and that's it. And the fact they don't have testudo and shield wall. So this is interesting, really, really interesting. I've just basically looked at the auxiliary and the auxiliary archer compared to the legionary. The only difference, really, that's going to be really important, is the melee difference. +2 for a legionary compared to +1 for an auxiliary. So what it does is an auxiliary would hit on a 5, whereas the legionary hits on a 4. So That's gone from being half hit to a third hit. But you can have 3 auxiliary guys to 1 legionary, which, in my opinion, counters the fact that you've got the worst melee. And if you've got enough men, then your bravery's increased. So your bravery becomes the same as a legionary, because you've got 3 times as many models. So you go from having 10 to having like 30, which is like a full unit. And you would have +2 melee rather than +1 melee rather than +2. But you have a chainmail shirt, a large shield, and a sword. So you have all the parries and stuff. You can carry short spears. Okay, short spears. A short spear. Most common weapon, true warrior, ancient times, simple to use but devastating when thrust into flesh of the enemy. Short spear has this no parry. Huh? So why would you buy short spears for 2 denarii when your sword gives you a parry and the short spear doesn't? Yeah. How does that make any sense whatsoever? You just wouldn't buy a short spear. It's literally just wasting denarii. If it had a rule like it fought first when he charged them, but it doesn't.
Have you read the rules for spears yet?
Well, they're covered by long spear and short spear, aren't they?
Mm.
So a long spear, by increasing the length of the spear, the warrior can launch a strike before the enemy gets into range. An entire unit equipped with long spears is a tough proposition for an attacker. So I'm guessing there's a special rule for spears that isn't covered by the equipment rules.
Mm-hmm.
For God's sakes, why would you do that? Why not put that in this description? Rather than saying, oh, no, it's a short spear, why not say what the fuck a spear is? So, look for the spear rules. Where are the spear rules? Oh my god. Oh my god. This is possibly the first thing that is going to piss me off about this game. Right, there is a rule for short weapons, but it doesn't say short in its description, so I'm guessing it hasn't got the short rule. Have you seen the spear rules anywhere?
Yes, I just can't remember which part of the book it's in.
That's fine. I'll keep looking then if you've seen the spear rules. It must be covered somewhere.
It sort of works along the lines of rock, paper, scissors, in that longer reach weapons have an advantage over shorter reach weapons, but only in certain circumstances.
So possibly the first problem with this book is the fact you haven't put all the rules for weapons in the same place that I can find. Horse, horn, camel, barding. Just grab yourself into the book. One on the shelf if you want to look it up. I've took that one. Is it after the heroes, maybe? I mean, I would expect spears to have a special over swords. That's just talents. Talents. Athens. Right, is there anything in the back of the book? There is probably no index. No, there's no index. I mean, there's rules for long, and there's rules for short, and there's rules for very long. So this is possibly the hardest thing to find in the book.
Where's the bit that tells you what the equipment is?
It is after the phalanx rule. Page 25 starts, page 24 and 25. Lethal. So a dagger has short, a pike has very long, a spear has long, and a short spear has nothing. So a long spear fights before swords, well, has a bonus to hit him. So a unit with a long weapon has a +1 bonus to melee attacks when it fights an enemy who does not have a long weapon, or a very long weapon. A long weapon may not be used as a dual fighting weapon. And then the very long fights before everything. Well, fights as a +1 against everything. So if the enemy wins a round of close combat, the very long weapon may not be used for the rest of the combat. So, yeah, literally a short spear has nothing, which makes it less handy than a sword. So I still can't see why you would want to buy it for 2 denarii. So I'll let you read through that, or try and find out. If you
There doesn't appear to be any reason for it.
Literally no reason. Almost like they have left it out.
What is the alternative to a short spear?
There isn't a sword. They come with a sword, which gives them parry. Reroll 1 tap dice on the incoming. Or for 2 denarii, you can buy yourself a short spear.
Strange.
It's not even like you can throw a short spear. They literally have no range to throw a short spear.
Britons.
It's on the Romans, on the auxilia, or auxiliary.
Imperial or Caesars.
Imperial and yeah, Caesars don't actually have auxilia. Eh? Hang on, the 4 auxilia made up. Unless it says they can have anything out of the Imperial Rome as well. Caesar's legions.
It would give you the choice of having them fight with 2 weapons. Because they would have a sword and a short spear.
But then you wouldn't get your shield bonus.
Yes, so you have the choice. Do you fight offensively or defensively?
Okay. So let's see what the 2 weapon rule is. Multiple units, ongoing close combat, large units, skilled fighters, fighting in melee, close. Right, so where's fighting with multiple weapons?
It's dual weapon fighting on page 17.
Which is special rules. Okay. So whether it's a matter of wanting to deal twice the damage or pure style, some warriors opt to take and use 2 close combat weapons in battle. A unit wielding 2 close combat weapons at the same time gains a bonus dice and can choose which weapon is used during the melee. A unit using 2 close combat weapons obviously cannot use a shield. I cannot see again, any bonus to having 2 weapons over 1 shield.
For example, you are fighting against a unit that has no ranged attacks and no armour.
You...
Kill them. They then can't kill you, so the shield isn't necessary.
Yeah, but they fight simultaneously. Unless I read it wrong.
So you,
I could have done it all wrong, maybe. But every model in both the attacking unit and enemy unit makes a melee check with each melee dice it possesses. Every dice that scores a 6 or more is successful attack. Every 10 models in the unit add +1 bonus is added from its melee. Oh right, so actually I missed out for the Gauls, they were hit on 3s. Well, for the Britons, the big unit, in the 12, they were hit on 3s instead of 4s. Because they get +2 melee, so actually in a big unit the better. Each successful attack deducts 1 wound from the target unit. As with all checks, a roll of a 1 is a fail and a 6 is a success. And armour is useful in close combat and it's treated the same as ranged attacks. So, I personally would actually go for a shield over 2 weapons. Because I reckon it's more useful. I think I'd rather have the ability to make my opponent reroll more of his attacks than have the bonus in combat. And I'd do it with both scenarios, with the Britons and the Gauls and the Celts. Because having no armour is even more reason. At least you've got chainmail, you've got a chance. But... So, that aside, they do appear to have made the Auxilia, even though they've got a lower stat, better than a legionary because of the pure quantity you can have. Because you've got the chainmail and 1 less melee, so if you pitch those against a unit of tribesmen, math hammer wise, the auxiliary, I want to call them auxilia, but they call them auxiliary, but they were called auxilia, weren't they? So I'm going to call them auxilia. The Roman auxilia have 8 denarii compared to, I think that's a 9 for Gauls. I'll go to the Germanics because it's, a warrior. So, a warrior, a 1 German wife may be purchased for every 2 warriors. Oh my god. This literally just held them in front of a... German wives add to the number of the units, but only grant bonuses for melee dice and bravery. They're always first removed as casualties. Oh my god. Okay, so the options for a warrior of Germania, this is. So, leather armour, helmets, axes, wives, javelins, horns, and yeah, so. They've got basically 1 better agility, no armour, and 1 better melee. So the auxiliary are hitting on 5s, the warriors are hitting on 4s, discounting the fact you might have more models in either. If you give anything to the warriors, it makes them more expensive. Armour makes them 5 denarii more. Other than that, warrior has large shield and short spear, and the auxiliary has chainmail shirt, large shield and sword. So 1 less move because you're wearing armour, but then you got 3 up armour save rather than having a 6 up armour save. So auxiliary are 1 denarii less than a warrior. So yeah, I think I'd probably have auxiliary compared to legionnaires, in all fairness, because you've got 3 auxiliary to 1 legionnaire, same armour save. Morale would be the same for bravery. In fact, it would be more because you'd have 3 times as many, so you'd have +2 bravery rather than plus 1. So your bravery would actually be the same. You'd be on 3 bravery with auxiliary and 3 bravery with the legionnaires. Your armour saves the same. You've got a shield so you can parry, sword so you can parry. The only difference is that you hit less in combat, but you've got 3 times as many models, so it doesn't really matter. And because you've got more models, you get a +1 melee, as I just read in the melee thing. So actually, having shed loads of auxiliary in a unit gives them more wounds, so they've got more ability to sustain casualties, and they get +1 melee for every 10 models. So if you've got at least 20, that's +2 melee. So for the same points as 10 legionnaires, who would be hitting technically on, they'd be hitting technically on a 4, well 3, but then they've probably lost a guy on the way in to like archers or something, maybe. Then they might be hitting on 4s, but the auxiliary are going to be hitting on a +2 melee at least, so +3 in total. So the auxiliary are going to be hitting on 3s anyway. So you're better off with the auxiliary. So there's that one. Now, what do auxiliary look like? I hear you ask. Auxiliary, you could get away with saying these are auxiliary, just paint the shields blue. Possibly. I know the auxiliary had more like that shield on that guy. I'm not sure if you can see it. But again, let's see if we've got any images of the auxiliary in here. Doesn't look likely. So we don't. That's a Roman legionary. I'll tell you what, we're going to have to find a picture on the internet. See the differences and see if you can just literally... I like the word literally, it's my favourite I think. We'll find a Google image of a auxiliary. Get lost, Bixby. I hate Bixby on these phones, it's just annoying. Roman auxiliary. So Roman auxiliary. Images. A Roman auxiliary looks like that. So he's got no plume. He wears a chainmail shirt, which is a bit different to the Roman legionary, who's got a going over the shoulder. But in all sense of the issue, you could paint this guy the same and say he's an auxiliary. Cut his plume off. Cut his plume off, he becomes an auxiliary. Okay, let's look at the Warlord website and check that. And then I think it's probably, that was my wife ringing by the way, so it's probably time to go home. It is midnight here now. Warlord Games. Have a quick look, show you an image of an auxiliary, and then we'll call it a night. Definitely a lot of food for thought there. A lot of food for thought. But all in all, this is a good game. Pleasantly surprised. Very surprised. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. And I did play myself, so obviously, but I felt like we were being quite impartial. It would be interesting to see what it's like on a even keel, even points, and then, so if Josh is available next week, we'll do an even points battle. And that's my wife ringing yet again. Roman Auxiliary box set. Let's see what that says for what they look like. So, interesting. Yeah, they do just look like your standard Roman with a oval shield rather than a kind of like they've got the flat oval rather than the rounded oval. So I'll just bring this up here. Hopefully she won't ring while I'm showing you this, but if you can see it, that is that, and that is the Roman. See how his shield's curved. But other than that, if you cut the plume off, yeah. Maybe give him the shields from the Celt box, and you get yourself an auxiliary. So, awesome. Right, well, that is the end because it's now very late and we should be going home. So I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. It's been a real pleasure doing this. I hope that it's helped you decide, bits and bobs about the book and the game. Very good set. It's only 40 quid, I think. So you get a lot of stuff in here for that much money. Well worth spending some pocket money on. And I think I'm going to be making myself a warband soon. Well, I mean, I've got these, but I'm going to make my own warband. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all the stuff like that. Leave a comment, tell us what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks, guys.